Not sommelier.
No.
Was he a sommelier?
I don't know.
He was our tour
wine barista.
Wine barista. Let's go with that.
Was really nice, and was really whatever we were willing to try, even if it wasn't supposed to be what he was, meaning for us to try. He was hooking us up and let us try it, and we tried port wine. And fell in love.
Change your life, y'all.
Fell in love, y'all. We brought 2 bottles back home. Technically, we bought 3, but we don't want to talk about what happened to that 3rd one, do we, Devon?
Listen, it broke itself. I don't know what to tell you. Thank y'all for tapping into another Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making show. Make sure y'all engage with us by leaving a comment or asking a question below. And of course, Queen, where can they go to stay tapped in?
Stay connected with us by going to them4show.com and follow us on Instagram at them4show.
Now, let's get into the episode. Welcome, amazing folks, to another powerful episode of the M4 Show, Melanated Married Millionaires in the Making. I'm your host, Devon Travell, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game, with my beautiful, amazing, locked up, eye-rolling queen herself. Please introduce yourself.
What is up, everybody? My name is Sinclair, aka the Health Nerd.
Yes. Just FYI, y'all know I've been on my health grind. Been in the gym, and today I worked out with my gym partner, and he really messed up my arms, like authentically. He was like, "Yeah, we're doing biceps and triceps," and I was like, "All right, I do curls, I do extensions," and then we got in there, and he does them more than I do.
Worse than Brandon?
No. When I worked out with my cousin Brandon, that was chest. That was a different level. I was like this for like 2 days. Like, hey, how you doing? Like, I couldn't give anyone a hug because I couldn't spread my arms. It was that was bad. But I'm excited for this journey with my new workout partner. Nonetheless, as y'all know, previously we went on a world tour. All right. And this was back in March 2023. If you're new to the M4 community, you can go back to some of our later episodes where we talk about our other stops where we covered where, Sinclair?
We covered Cartagena, Colombia.
Yes, ma'am.
We covered Lisbon, Portugal.
You better believe it.
We covered Zanzibar, East Africa.
Uh-huh.
And then we covered, today we're going to be covering Cape Town, South Africa.
Cape Town, South Africa on the list. Arguably your favorite stop on the tour?
Arguably. It's hard, but arguably, I think that was my favorite.
Okay. So we're going to go into our different categories, which include the culture, the cost, the capades, and our favorite, the cuisine. All right. So make sure y'all stay tapped in with us. If you're watching on YouTube, you can definitely go ahead and comment which part is your favorite part of the experience. If you've been to Cape Town, you're considering Cape Town, feel free to ask any questions as well. Sinclair. Sinclair.
Devon.
How would you like to start off our review of Cape Town?
Well, I'm hungry, so I think let's start off in cuisine. And I want to save cost for last because I think that's what people want to know.
What they're here for.
We're gonna make you stick around for a little bit for that. But 2, I feel like naturally when we start talking about costs, I start talking about the things we did, and it kind of spoils the capades. So
I see you.
Yeah. We're going to save costs for last, but I am hungry. So let's start with cuisine.
Okay. So while you get the specific notes out, I feel like in general, what I loved about Cape Town is the fact that you can get a lot of different African cuisines and honestly cuisines from all over the world in one place. Very similar to in America, probably similar to a lot of European countries where it's a international country.
Yes.
Right. So you're able to eat Ethiopian food, Ghanaian food, Nigerian food, Indian food, Pakistani food. I don't remember seeing any like soul food spots in particular, but there were like burgers, there was barbecue, there was sushi. There were not fabulous tacos there, Jaid. I'm gonna be honest with you. there were not good Mexican food spots, but almost everywhere else was represented and high quality food.
Yes. So yeah, you've already covered like seafood was definitely something we were eating a lot of. Like it is, of course, the southernmost point of Africa. So it is right on the coast, and there's a lot of fresh seafood that you can get. Like we had like a lot of like fried seafood, even fresh seafood, pretty much anything you want. We also had It was like I don't remember what the place was called or what the theme of it was, but we had like the shrimp and the fish with like the sauces. We got to choose the sauces.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good.
It was at the spot that was like right on the
yes.
Harbor.
Yes.
They gave us nice blankets and they had some pretty good drinks.
Oh, no.
Not that spot.
That place was just okay.
Really?
We got like I think we got some ceviche there, which was not good. I'm not gonna lie to you.
We had some steak there.
The steak was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that place was okay. This was a place that was along the it was like in the Malibu like type place. We got off the bus, we walked there. It was literally right across from the beach. We were sitting there, we got some wine.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, yeah. So we're just talking to each other. Like,
right.
You remember
this is what the podcast is all about. It's us talking to each other. But yeah, that spot was good.
Yeah. So one thing about Cape Town, and we'll probably get more into it later on, but it did, and I heard this beforehand, but it did resemble a little bit of California. So the place we're talking about was along like a beachy part that almost reminded me of like a Venice or like a Malibu type vibe. As you drive along the coast, it kind of varies and looks a little bit similar to California. So there's a lot of restaurants,
like a Italy, Amalfi Coast type vibe.
Almost. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of restaurants and bars that are right along the beach, so you can just walk and find something delicious. Lots of places that have like 2 stories, so you can sit on the top and enjoy like a glass of wine with that beautiful ocean view. So definitely the scenery around like the restaurants was definitely wonderful. So yeah, we had seafood a lot. I also wanted to talk about Gold's.
Please do.
Yes. So Gold's was an African restaurant, and it's basically a place where you can go to like experience a whole bunch of different African cuisines. So we had Moroccan food, we had food from Ghana, we had food from Kenya, we had like each, and it was like presented in courses. So each course they'd come out, they'd have a little presentation, they'd tell you about the foods and where everything was from. And it was actually really, really good.
Really good. And I think added bonus for it is one, we stepped in there. We was looking kind of fly.
It was salty, y'all.
We stepped out on it real quick. And then they escorted us to our table, and we were going up these stairs, and we were like, okay, when we go to stop, right? And we just kept going up this tower until finally it was just us and maybe like 2-3 other couples up there and we can see the entire restaurant beneath us. So it was really good bird's eye view. And then not every single course, but maybe like every other course, they would have performers come through, whether it was someone who painted your face, someone who did a traditional dance, someone who would sing, and it was like a full experience. Michelin star level as far as the number of courses, taste wise, almost there, but Michelin star level as far as the courses and experiences. But if you like the course, you can ask for it again. Which at most at least Michelin star restaurant that we went to.
No, we can't speak from all of this.
We can't speak for both.
That's the one.
But the one we went to in Portugal, once you have that, it's gone. But these moments, these courses, if you really like the dish, you can ask for it again and again and again. It was all included in that price. So that was really cool. And I don't know if this was going to be in the capades, but also with Gold's, they had a dance tutorial. Right,
I forgot about that.
Where it was like, this was probably towards the end of our meal, so we were kind of full, but it was like we're in Cape Town. I'm not going to miss this free dance class.
Right.
So you go back down the stairs, and then the restaurant right next door, they had a full stage where they would teach you how to do one of the traditional African dances. So if you're in Cape Town, definitely highly recommend you go to the Gold's restaurant. Yes. Great experience, great food, laughter, good drinks. You can dance. It's a holistic experience. Definitely tap in.
You do have to make a reservation ahead of time, so keep that in mind. But it's a must see. Like you can't go to Cape Town without going to Gold's if you're trying to experience the African culture, right, which is definitely something we're trying to do. Right.
We did a food tour.
We did do the food tour. I was going to cover that in Capades, but you want to talk about that now?
Oh, can we talk about Capades next?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so we'll hold off on the food tour. All right. Sorry, y'all. We're gonna talk about it. What else do you have in cuisine, my dove?
We already basically talked about it, but I just put how it was very much like a fusion of different cultures, right? There was I'm gonna forget what that little, it was almost like a little cave type mall thing where we were going down, and it was just literally like foods of like Indian food stalls. There was a pizza place, but it was typically like there was Mediterranean food. So it was just a very much a fusion of different cultures, that you can go and get food for, relatively cheap. But yeah, lots of Indian food, lots of curries, lots of chickens, lots of rices, plantains. Those are the types of things that we got there. But even the curries were kind of like a mixture of like different cultures. It was really, really nice to experience.
Oh yeah, and something that I really don't want to like just breeze over is, especially if you've been listening to podcasts for a while, there's kind of two different ways that you can pronounce plantains, right? Some people say plantains, and you can tell they're not from a Caribbean background. Other people say plantains, and I just want to commend you for finally coming over to the Caribbean side of things and saying plantains. Well done, Sinclair. I'm very, very proud.
Thank you.
Caribbean this is a moment.
Caribbean by association.
Indeed. Indeed. So let's give it a score. All right. Out of 10. Out of 10, what would you give the cuisine of Cape Town, South Africa?
I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Talk to me. Why 7.5?
I feel like thinking back, there was a lot of good things. Aside from Gold's, not too many like standout like meals. Like I had to remind myself of some of the things as we were thinking about it. So I feel like had there been, Gold's was definitely, I think, the best meal that we had there. So that's really holding up the score. Everything else I think was cool. Actually, the other place was pretty good too. I might have to go.
Recalibrate.
Okay.
Recalibrate.
I'm a bumped up to an 8. I'm gonna bump it up to an 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go, because I'm very biased, I'm going 8.5.
Okay.
And it's mainly because where else can you get this variety of different foods, specifically different African foods?
Yeah.
I think coming from, America, Southern California, we got like 3 spots out here, right? We got like 3 spots, and 2 of them are Ethiopian food, right? Delicious. One is a Nigerian food spot that isn't that good.
We're not gonna talk about it.
Yeah, I'm not gonna bring up the brand name. But there's not a lot of like authentic African foods that I've been exposed to out here in Southern California. So to go to a place where there was just endless options for African food was really dope. So I'm giving it an 8.5.
So if you do know of any African spots in Southern California, please drop them in the comments, and we will let you know what we think about it.
They really talk. There was someone who was like, "Yeah, you really need to try out this spot. It's in Riverside. It's really good." We went there. It's not it. I'm sorry. Our food level is high.
Yeah.
All right. So cuisine, you said 8.
I said 8. You said 8.5.
So we're at an 8.25 for cuisine. Are we taking notes?
I am. I got the score down. For those of you who are like, what is this score? What are y'all doing? Each of these categories, we score them from 1 to 10. And then after each of the, after we go through all of the 4 C's, cost, cuisine, capades, culture, we were going to give you a final score on what we think of this place. And yeah, this is just our experience. This is not us rating the place. This is us rating our trip and our experience.
This is the definitive score. Anyway,
right.
Ebony, Jet, Travel Noir. No, the M4 Show travel blog. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, this is just us rating our experience.
Yes, ma'am. All right. So next,
capades.
Let's talk about capade. Let's start with the food tour as a nice transition, my dear. Talk to us. How did you appreciate like the food tour?
So honestly, the most memorable thing about the food tour was our host, our tour guide, Coffee. He definitely was just super warm, and he was a local, born and raised, and gave us an inside look onto what do the locals eat. I think that's something that we do appreciate when we go on the food tours, because we can visit the touristy places on our own. I could look up best restaurants and find the touristy places, but I like the food tour to really get a feel for like, what do the locals eat here? What is true, right? What is true Cape Town food, right? Yeah. Which is of course a smorgasbord of different foods, but I like to see like, what are the locals eating? What is the true food of this place? So shout out to Coffee, also an amazing artist.
Come on.
Amazing artist. At the end of our food tour, we were at an Ethiopian restaurant, and he was like, "Oh, I got a gift for you. I got one more thing." Pulled out his guitar. Was it a guitar? It might have been some
Might have
other,
been like a
a
banjo.
version of the guitar,
Yeah.
and played a couple of just really beautiful songs. Like we were all just like sitting there mesmerized, like a free show at the end of the food tour. I would have paid to just sit and listen to him, honestly. So that was just really, really cool. That was honestly the most memorable thing.
Sure.
Yeah.
And it's sad because not everybody. So we started off with, I think, maybe 5 people on the food tour. Not everyone was able to go all the way through. But I think that was just a really nice, authentic ending to a food tour, right? That's just a cemented memory. Us 4 sitting there sipping some Ethiopian coffee, listening to a local artist jam out. It was a vibe.
One in the ghetto. Oh, come on, coffee. Oh, that's a perfect segue into one of the things we did enjoy.
What we enjoy?
We went to a local's house and we tried some authentic Senegalese coffee. Did I say that right?
I'm not sure.
Okay,
it sounded good.
Some coffee from Senegal. And yeah, so it was a gentleman who gets coffee from his mom. If I'm remembering this story correctly, he gets coffee sent from his mom and he makes it at home, carries it in like a thermos in his backpack, and goes around town and sells the coffee to the locals in Cape Town. And that's how he makes part of his money, right? That's his business. And so he made us some coffee and it was so good. And he like showed us how he was making it, and he poured it. He did his little like poured it from like 10 feet above. It was really cool. And then just telling us about him and his experience. And we're literally in his house. So just a really cool experience. Again, these are things that like you would probably pay to do separately, but we got all of these things in a food tour. I don't know if you had anything else you wanted to add on that.
Yeah, I got a couple of things to add on that. One, I think, I don't, where do we find this experience?
Airbnb.
It was Airbnb. So I think one of the cool things about this particular experience is it was off of the beaten path 100%. And I think outside looking in, it can seem a little sketch because this was in an apartment building. We went up several flights of stairs. I felt like someone said something about going to see some snakes at one point, and I feel like that was a joke.
Yeah, he was like, messing with us the whole time.
I'm gonna take you to some snakes, and it's like I don't really know you like that.
Nope, please don't.
Like, let's not. But at the end of the day, like we went to this stranger's apartment to us, and just had an amazing, authentic experience. He was really opening up and telling us like his full story on how he traveled here with very, very little money. Got robbed several times, had to really start over with this coffee business, was able to at one point have a coffee location, but then I don't remember if it was the pandemic or another economic factor, but lost the actual coffee shop. And then now he just sells out of his backpack every single day. Sometimes he doesn't collect the money from people up front at the beginning of the day because he knows they have to get to their job. So he's like, hey, on consignment, or I believe you, come back at the end of the day and pay me then. So it was just very interesting to see this person's business model and how much trust that they have in other people, even though they've been through everything that they've been through.
Right. Really tells you the sense of community that they have.
For sure. For sure. So highly encourage you, and, in a safe manner, try to get a little bit off of the beaten path on however you feel comfortable. Obviously, like we're doing a lot of our stuff together. We're not traveling alone. So we have that privilege and benefit, but don't just go to Red Lobster. Don't just go to McDonald's. Don't just like stay in the hotel when you go to these places. Like try to support the locals, hear the local stories. We got to visit one of the local eyeglass shops with coffee, Zaza Eyewear. So yeah, it's just a really authentic and off the beaten path experience.
Yeah. And like I mentioned, I booked this on Airbnb. So I do a lot of research ahead of time on like what's the best food tour. In some place like Cape Town, I think there were a couple of options, but I'm usually deep diving in the reviews because that's where people put their honest opinions and like, this is what I liked and this is what I didn't. So that's where I really get into like, what did people like about this tour, or what did they not like? And I do like to book it on websites like that I do trust, that do their due diligence of background checking people or whatever. So I feel comfortable booking on these. I know other people have had different experiences, but that's just how I would recommend like how you can find different experiences. I know a lot of people don't know that Airbnb has experiences or use them, but they are a great tool. We've used them all over the world. There's Viator, there's TripAdvisor.
Slight Flex. We used it all over the world. slight flex.
But yeah, something to look into. Airbnb, we used it for where we stayed and for the experience.
Yeah. So we're not done with capades.
No,
we are not done, y'all. Y'all thought that's all we did? Y'all thought all we did was
I know we like
eat
to
some
eat,
food?
but
Come on now, Sinclair. Let these folks know what else we did out there in Cape Town.
So we did wine tasting 2 days in a row.
Did we now?
We did. So one thing that's really cool about Cape Town is they have what's called a smart pass, and it's basically something you can buy ahead of time, and it lets you do certain things for free or discounted. But you buy this pass, and I think it ended up being like $50 maybe, and there's a lot of things that are included with it. So one of the things that we were able to do is go to the wineries, and we didn't pay any money to go to the wineries. We also didn't pay any money for oh no, we did pay for the bus. We took a bus, the hop on hop off buses, which I'm now a fan of. I always used to watch them go by and be like, ugh, tourists. They're so fun, y'all. They're just a very convenient way to not only like see the sights. I love sitting on the top and being able to see the sights, but like this specifically was perfect because we had a bus stop that was not too far away from where we were staying, so we were able to just walk there and then literally take the loop around the entire city. So it was also a means of transportation, and we paid like maybe $25 for that bus ticket, and we use it the entire week.
Yep. And for my history nerds on there, you can listen to the history while you ride.
Yes, that's cool too. But they had a special loop specifically for the wineries. So we stopped, we got on another bus, and then we're able to go around to a few different wineries. But the first day we were in an area called Constantia. And so the first day we went to a winery called Groot Constantia, which was really cool. That's really the first place. I think I got like a full tour of like the wine operations. And as a person who has history in operations, I was interested. I wasn't learning out a little bit, like, oh, this is cool. And so I did like to be able to see like, oh, this is where they actually like mash the grapes, and this is where they age in the barrels, and then this is where it goes, and be able to ask questions as well. So that was a really cool thing. And then they were just the guy, I don't remember his name, but who was our
not sommelier.
No,
was he a sommelier?
I don't know.
Our tour
wine barista.
Let's go with that.
Was really nice, and was really whatever we were willing to try, even if it wasn't supposed to be what he was, meaning for us to try. He was hooking us up and let us try it, and we tried port wine and fell in love.
Change your life, y'all.
Fell in love, y'all. We brought 2 bottles back home. Technically, we bought 3, but we don't want to talk about what happened to that third one, do we, Devon?
Listen, it broke itself. I don't know what to tell you. I was trying to open it, and it was like, either I'm going to not be opened or no one's going to drink me.
So it broke in the sink. But we bought multiple bottles back. I tried a new red wine that apparently you can only get in South Africa called Pinotage. Delicious. That's probably my favorite red wine I've ever had. So that was really cool. And then do you remember the name of the wine that you liked? That
I don't remember the name of it, but what I do remember was it King Louis?
Yeah.
King Louis. Is it King Louis or
one of the kings?
King Louis, I believe, ordered 200 bottles of this wine every single year. So we got 2. we're not quite on King Louis status, right? So we got 2 of those wines. We've been slow sipping, and they're delicious.
Yeah, they're
literally delicious.
The second day we went to a winery called Constantia Glen. That was also great. We sat down, had some the charcuterie type boards, which you'll normally do. So that was an interesting experience. But that one had really nice scenery. That was really nice as well.
Something interesting that I discovered at that restaurant specifically, or that winery specifically, is when you eat the different things on the charcuterie board, it impacts on the charcuterie board.
Charcuterie.
Charcuterie. What did I say?
Security.
He said security. Get them out of here. Charcuterie. Thank you for the bougie lessons. So when you eat like the pickles, the cheese, the different meats, it impacts how the sweetness comes out of one, how the bitterness comes out of another wine, which is very, very interesting.
That was cool to play around with a little bit. Just, you try this one with this and this one with that. And Normally, again, we don't normally do like the food with it. I don't normally do cheese because I don't really like cheese. So it was nice to get like meats and crackers and there was some pickled vegetables and stuff like that you could try. So that was cool. Really cool experience.
Which business tip, right? Thinking about how can you sell or give objects that enhance the flavor or experience of what you provide to your customers, right? So they're a winery, so their main thing is providing wine,
right?
But and then the charcuterie board
Good job.
allows you to elevate your experience and bring out different flavors of their main primary product. So thinking about what do you sell, what experience do you offer to your community, and what are cheaper things that you can provide them that will enhance your higher quality product that most people are coming to you for.
Yep. Boom. Absolutely. Even at the first winery we ate before, and that food was really good.
That food was delicious.
It was very good. Okay. Now, probably the most exciting thing we did on our entire month-long trip. You don't know what I'm going to say? You want to say?
I don't know what you're going to say. What are you going to say, Sinclair?
We jumped off a cliff, Devon.
That was fun.
We went paragliding, y'all. And so if you're not familiar, paragliding is where you jump off of a cliff, literally.
You
run off of a cliff and the parachute.
Pray that the wind will hold you.
So it's not one where you like jump and then you free fall and then the parachute comes out later. The parachute is already up and it is part of what takes you. So I'm not doing that free falling nonsense. So this was a happy medium for me. He's been wanting me to do skydiving. I'm still not there, but I will paraglide all over the world. So yeah, it was the experience itself. We had to practice patience because we think we were supposed to go out at like 11 or something. I don't think we ended up going out till like 3. We were there for a couple of hours because you have to get the winds right, which I'm all for. I'll wait here all day if the winds aren't right because I don't want to die
at all.
Period.
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. So we had to wait around a little bit. And I feel like for me, I was ready when we went there, but I feel like the more like waiting around and then scared. Like they actually did start letting people go, but we were in like the later group and watching people go. That's when I started to get nervous.
Really, I feel like the opposite. The more I was able to see people run, jump, and all right, they look like they're surviving. I was like, all right, we got this.
I was kind of just like, yeah, this looks fun. Let's do it. But the more I got to see it, I'm like, okay, I have to do that. Okay. And then I got to run and then okay, and then I got this, but no, it was really, really fun. So basically it was tandem. So we were with the professional. So they would be behind us and we're all like strapped in together. And then they lay out the parachute. Was it in back of us or in front of us?
Definitely in back of us.
Okay, so they lay out the parachute in back. Oh yeah, because you got to run. They lay out the parachute in back of you. And then when you're ready, they basically just say like run full speed, which is of course is counterintuitive because there's a cliff. Literally. You're running off a hill, literally. So very counterintuitive, but you have to just run full speed. His made me so nervous because it like lifted off and they came back down. And then, I was just like, are they going to go?
Here's the thing. There's a runway, right? A nice protective mat on the side of this beautiful mountain cliff. And when you're at the top of the runway, you don't necessarily see what's at the end of the runway, right? All you see is a cliff. So we're running full speed, run. He's like, all right, jump. And we're not going anywhere. Granted, I'm a heavy dude, right? I'm like 220, 230 on a good day, so I'm a heavy guy. So I'm running and we've reached the end of the runway and our feet are still on the ground. And at this point, we're running on grass, literally off of the cliff. And like at the very last second, the wind finally gets us. And I'm like, oh, thank you. I thought Sinclair was about to get all this life insurance money.
Mind you, I haven't gone yet. So I'm watching all of this happen from behind. I'm about to tell my man, nope, wrap it up. That's it.
Not both of us. not both of us going off this cliff. Oh my goodness. It was
fun. He got a lift off and then I went shortly after and it was really fun. Once you get up there, right, the wind takes you and it's just a beautiful, beautiful ride. Cape Town is absolutely beautiful.
Sure.
10 out of 10 recommend for the scenery because you've got Tabletop Mountain, which we have to talk about next.
Yes.
You've got Tabletop Mountain, which is a beautiful wonder of the world. You've got the city, which it's literally a city. And then you've got I didn't want to like, it's not a city like Davis, California. Like it's a full on like downtown, like metropolitan city. But then you've also got the beautiful coastline. So it's like, and then the wineries too. Like it doesn't matter where you look, there's something beautiful to look at. So I think that also helped the experience of just like, once you're up there, like I'm not even necessarily worried about the wind or anything. Like I'm just looking around like, wow, this place is beautiful.
Yep. And then they let you, at least they let her.
They sure did.
Because they can tell that she likes to be in control.
He said, "You like to be in control, don't you?" I said, "Uh-huh." He said, "Here you go." I said, so I got to hold the things because other than that, they give you a little selfie stick with your GoPro and you're just videoing the experience. But he took my GoPro and he was like, "Oh, you want to try it?" So I'm like, "Sure." So I grabbed the things and he's like, "Okay, turn this way." I'm like, "Okay, turn this way, that way." So I don't know. It was really cool to just have the control for a little bit and then giving it right back because then he's like, right, because then he's like, "Okay, we're about to land." I'm not about to land us. I didn't trade for this. Take these back. But no, it was a really, really fun and landing. That was the nervous. They don't tell you anything about landing, by the way. They're like, "Oh no, we'll fine. We'll cover that when you're in the air." I'm like, when we're in the air, you'll talk about landing. Like, so they don't. So they only talk about how to lift off. But then he's literally just like, "Okay, lift your legs up and pretend like you're gonna sit or something like that." No, it was the opposite. Did he say stand?
Stand. You want to land?
Oh yeah, stand.
Yes.
So he's like, just stand up. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, but you're sitting naturally. So I'm like, how do you stand when there's nothing to stand on? So I'm just like trying to straighten myself out. And he's like, stand up, stand up. I'm like, I'm about to break my tailbone. I'm out. But no, landing was smooth. It's like you come in really fast, which is the nerve-wracking part. But of course they're professionals, so they know how to like whoom, right at the end, and then you slow down and you're on the grass.
Boom.
Right in front of the beach. So 10 out of 10 would recommend paragliding if you are not afraid of heights.
Boom, there it is.
And you don't get the free falling feeling because that was my fear.
No,
I hate that. You don't get that unless you lose wind for just a half a second, which did happen for me, but just half a second. Lastly, and then we're done with Capades, Tabletop Mountain. So this is at one point it was considered
do the quick version of this.
Okay, at one point it was considered a 7 wonder of the world, but it is a basically a flat mountain. It's a natural wonder of the world. I said that, but you can take a aerial train cable car ride up to the top of it and see just a beautiful view. So we did that as well. A lot of fun.
I would say probably eat before getting there. There is a small diner up there where you can get some coffee, some food, but honestly,
saving money.
Yeah, it's not that great. But it's up there, but it's not that great. Go ahead and eat before or eat after. Take the cable car up, take your selfie pictures, go up there, meditate, and then go ahead and come back down.
Yep. Culture. We've talked a lot of
Sinclair.
Oh, I'm sorry. We need to rate it. We need to rate it. My bad.
Give us your rating, the definitive Capades rating for Cape Town, South Africa, out of 10. Meditate on it.
This is probably going to be the highest rating I've given because Cape Town is very well-rounded. We got the culture piece, we got the food, we got the exciting, we got the wine. I'm going to give it a 9.5.
Ooh, 9.5. What would make it a 10? Because I don't think we've ever given a 10 to anything for Capades. What would give Cape Town a 10? What's it missing for you? Is it nightlife? Because we didn't necessarily
probably
do too much clubbing.
Probably that. Probably one night where we were just out and don't know how we made it home. One of those nights. That would have made it.
Reckless. Sinclair living reckless out here. But you want like a Bangor Road experience.
Yes. I think that was the one thing. And we did, I think, have the thought to go out a couple of times and we never made it out. We were just in the room chilling.
Like, today was a long day. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. I would second the 9.5. I also think it was a dope experience. The fact that we could do some air activities, some wine activities, had delicious food. There were some entertaining parts that we can do as far as at goals, get in the dance class, get in the entertainment. We went to a museum, right? So I think we were able to do a lot of different things within one place and for relatively affordable as well. So yeah, a good turn night. Could have definitely took it over the edge. But 9.5 I'm good with.
Sounds good.
All right, so we're at an 8.25 for cuisine. We're at a strong 9.5 for Capades. What is the next category?
Culture.
Culture. All right, let's get into it.
So we've talked a little bit about it already, but I think one of the cool things about Cape Town is that it is a very diverse place with a lot of different cultures. Like it is South Africa, but there's a good mixture of people from Europe, from different parts of Africa. We met a lot of Africans from Zimbabwe,
Yep.
Kenya, like all over the continent. And yeah, you've got a lot of other people. You've got some Americans there that have traveled there. But it is kind of a good mixture of, and then of course you got your like Indian folks, you've got Middle Eastern folks, you've got Mediterranean
European
folks. We said that already. I said that. But yeah, you've got a good mixture of people there, which I think creates a nice diverse pocket of just places to eat, things to do, people to meet. Yeah, I think that's one thing I definitely wanted to point out.
I think that I didn't get the complete vibe of is what is the Cape Town culture. Maybe because it is such a melting pot and it's so diverse that there's no like, at least from what I saw, authentic Cape Town culture, or we just need to go into the sections that are authentic Cape Town. I think that's the only thing that I'm missing from that culture piece.
Yeah.
And then also like language. I mean, there was a lot of different languages being spoken. English was spoken by almost everybody that we were able to get in contact with. Swahili was spoken by a couple folks, and then there was a indigenous language that I'm not remembering. No, don't got it. All right, but there was also the indigenous language as well. So like a lot of different cultures, but it wasn't clear like what is Cape Town culture.
I think it's the same as like when you have like you said, a melting pot or like a salad bowl, if you will, of different cultures. There's not going to be a monolith usually. So I feel like that is what we were looking for. Like if you go to Zanzibar, it's like you get a very good feel for the Zanzibar culture versus Cape Town, very much a smorgasbord of people. So you don't get a monolith experience of this is what Cape Town is. So that is something to keep in mind. Another aspect of I don't know where else to put it in the categories other than culture. Is like when we were driving around in the hop on, hop off buses, is seeing like the townships. And I think that is another part of the culture there. And we did get to learn a little bit about that from Coffee, from the local, is that there is a lot of segregation in Cape Town. So I do want to talk about the good, but I also like in other places, I did call out the things that like, every place has its pros and cons. That was definitely one thing that we left with that was like, this is one of those things that like, I wish it wasn't like this, but unfortunately that is the reality of the situation where a lot of the Africans are pretty much pushed out to a certain part of town where they call it townships, and it is a very different way of life. And the Europeans, the other folks that are around, they don't go there, and it just creates a very interesting dynamic and culture, especially as a Black American going there, because it's like if I were from Africa, like that's where I would be banished to, if you will. But being an American, I'm able to go wherever. It's an interesting dynamic to be experiencing.
Right. And it wasn't clear to me if it was a race or ethnic culture thing or if it was just a class and money thing.
Right.
But either way, it was a very clear segregation or division of local Africans are going to live here, and then tourists or wealthy folks are going to live everywhere else.
And it's almost like they want that to hidden. They don't want you to even, and that's another thing that they did talk about on the hop on, hop off buses. Like when they were speaking about the place, like I feel like they were almost trying to make it seem like, oh yeah, we're just like one big happy family. Like it used to be like this, but it's not anymore. But then you talk to the locals and it's like, that's not actually what is happening. Like it's still very segregated, and it's hard for folks, damn near impossible, excuse my language, for folks to get out of the townships if they wanted to. Like there's not a whole lot of opportunities for those locals to be able to move on up right into the other parts of town, which is the unfortunate part about it.
Right. So a lot of things going on in culture, which is going to be an interesting score. I already know. So Sinclair for culture, Cape Town, out of 10, what you thinking?
I'm going to go with the 7.
That's crazy.
Is that what you're going to do?
That is what I was going to do. Yeah. Why are you going to do a 7?
Because I feel like you said, it was a very cool thing to see, like a smorgasbord Smorgasbord.
That is the word of this episode.
Yeah.
Smorgasbord. I
Don't
have
ask
no
me
idea.
to spell it.
Don't ask me for the definition. What is the definition of smorgasbord? Let's see. I'll look it up while you do your thing.
Okay. I do like that it was a diverse group of people that was cool and created a interesting and cool experience. Yes, the segregation aspect of it, like it does kind of leave a little stain on your heart, especially again as a Black American. So that definitely I think is keeping it from being a higher score. But I still really enjoyed the like going to Gold's and getting the experience of trying cuisine from all around Africa and being able to try so many different cuisines in one place. I really enjoyed. So that's why it gets a 7 for me.
Smorgasbord. SMORGASBORD. A buffet offering a variety of hot and cold meats, salads, hors d'oeuvres, etc. A wide range of something variety.
I knew I liked the word.
Smorgasbord. Yeah, buffet.
A buffet of different
you had me at
foods.
buffet.
I'm sold.
But I'll be honest with you, I was looking for a definition, so I may repeat a lot of what you just said. But also going with the 7, I like the smorgasbord of cultures and ethnic backgrounds that were there and being exposed to those things. I think what I didn't like is that I didn't feel like I was in Africa. I wish there was a little bit more of the local culture represented in the architecture and just the way that the buildings blended with the natural background. I feel like Zanzibar had that feel. Going to Ghana had that feel. The drive through Ethiopia had that feel. But I feel like Cape Town, it really felt like I was in America.
Yeah.
And then I also, of course, don't like the segregation of places and would love to see more of the people being integrated into normal society. So I'm gonna give it a 7. I think there's a lot of room for improvement for the society of Cape Town. I'm excited to see that growth, and I'm excited to visit in 10 years, 20 years, or maybe buy a house and someday and see that growth firsthand.
Sounds good. I'm gonna hold you to that because you said it on the podcast. Okay. So next,
what's going on here? Before you get into the next thing, I think we gotta take a short commercial break. Is that okay with you, Queen?
That's fine.
Cool. I appreciate the approval. We're gonna take a quick commercial break to hear from our sponsor. Then when we get back, we're gonna get into our last C, which is cost.
Dollar bills, y'all.
Let's get into the money. We'll see you all in a second. All right, y'all, we're gonna get right back in today's episode, but of course we gotta give some love to our sponsor. If you are out there and you're looking for a way to leave your 9-to-5 job, you're looking for some solid steps and guidance into starting your business, then you need Launch It. 7 steps to launch your business. You can go to launchitcommunity.com, get yourself resources, access to masterclass classes, and of course the book Launch It, 7 steps to launch your business to save you time and money in your entrepreneurship process. Head to launchitcommunity.com and grab your book today. Let's get back to the episode. Right, we are going over our amazing trip to Cape Town, South Africa. If you've been to Cape Town before, whether it was Joburg or Cape Town, go ahead and drop in the comments. What did you do while you were there? What were some of the capes that y'all got into? What's some of the delicious food that you ate? And would you go back? All right, we're going to get into some of those answers for us on the back end. But right now, let's talk about the money, Sinclair.
Yes.
How much? Well, never mind. You go ahead. You made the outline. I don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you. So first thing I want to talk about is currency. We never exchanged money when it came to Cape Town. So we always either used cash, we were able to use US dollars or credit cards. They accepted all major US credit cards. So that was not an issue for us. And usually a lot of places will show Rand, that is the currency there, Rand, South African Rand. So they will show either both, or it'll just be in Rand. And then you can ask like, what would this be in dollars? But we never came across someone who did not take US dollars. So that was not an issue. Now flights, typically the most expensive part of a trip. Now we were coming from Zanzibar, so our flight from Zanzibar was not expensive. But I know most of y'all would not be doing that. So I actually went on and found, we're in Southern California, how much it would be to fly from LAX to Cape Town.
I'm intrigued.
So typically it would be anywhere from $950 to $1,200 in non-peak times.
Round trip or
round trip for one person. So not terrible.
That's not as bad as I was thinking.
Right. If I think for me thinking about going to Africa, especially because we did fly to there from other places, it can get expensive.
Because Ghana is like 2,000 round trip.
Right. So yeah, Cape Town, not that bad at all. And you can fly into Cape Town itself. So like when we flew in, we only were driving for maybe 25 minutes from the airport to our Airbnb. So that's another really cool thing. Yeah, and from LAX, like, yeah, you don't have to make, it wasn't like 3 different stops. So I think there was just one layover. And so that's not bad. So something you can definitely budget to do. Also, our recommendation, what we did is that since you're gonna, and knowing that it's actually this cheap to fly into Cape Town, might be good to start there next time.
Yeah.
But while you're there, visit some other places while you're on the continent. Just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We should definitely look at that. Go to Cape Town, then either Ghana or Egypt. Yeah. Right, my bad. A live brainstorm right now.
So these are the types of things that I am analyzing and figuring out when we're going on a trip, where we're going to start and where we're going to next. Is I will look at like, what does it cost to get from here to there from all these different places? The cheapest place is probably where we're going to start. And then from there, right, going from country to country is usually cheaper domestically. And then find another place where you can find a cheaper returning ticket. And that's a way to lower your costs.
Probably ending in like a Spain or Italy.
Yeah.
And then coming back.
Yep.
Ooh, round 2. Let's get a tour, Sinclair.
Let's do it. The other place, accommodation, or the other thing is accommodation. That's usually the other highest cost. Very affordable in Cape Town. So we paid $438 for our Airbnb.
How many nights?
6. Yeah, we were there for a week. So that's basically what we paid in like Colombia and Portugal. So again, we were very cognizant about how much we wanted. We did not want to spend a lot of hotels. You're going to spend at least $100 a night. So the Airbnb was cool because we had a kitchen. We had an entire apartment with a beautiful view. We were on
and a balcony.
Yes. And we were on the tabletop mountainside. So we're able to see some of the city, do some people watching, but also see the beautiful tabletop mountain.
Add that to our capes next time.
Yep.
Like, how entertaining were the people to watch?
Yep. But yeah, be really, really nice. Even like the we were kind of escorted in and like, shown the place by a really nice woman, Joan. I think that was her name. And yeah, so really great value for $438. Perfect location as well. We were right where I think we would have wanted to be. Walking distance to a lot of good restaurants, a lot of places. We Ubered maybe a couple of times, but I think we were able to either walk to the hop on, hop off bus stop or walk to where we wanted to go very often. So that was good. And then the food cost is another, expense, of course. I would say the food generally was cheaper than what you would expect to spend in the US, or at least in California.
Sure. Yep.
It did depend on what type of restaurant you were going to, though. I will say that. So like the like strip mall type vibe where there was just a bunch of food stalls was super cheap. I think we spent like $30 there and we got
a feast.
We got a
that
feast.
Food we ate for like 3 days.
Yes. So that was a lot of food, right? Versus like one of the restaurants where like on the coast, like naturally they got to pay their bills too. So you're going to be paying more. You might be spending just under what you would spend in the US. So like you can get some wine, you can get a nice meal, and maybe spend like $50 or $60 all said and done. So again, being from California, that's pretty good for a meal where you get an ocean view. That would easily be $200 in California. Right. So pretty good for what you get. Anything else you want to add so far?
I'm not remembering the tipping culture there. Do you remember what the tipping culture was like? As far as like for the servers?
I don't remember. I remember
we tipped.
We tipped
because that's what we're
so
used to.
I think I remember researching it ahead of time. It's one of those like you don't have to do it. I think typically if people are tipping it, they probably know we're American. I don't think it's a part of the culture. I think like there's probably things already included in the check. So I think tipping is like you don't have to, but you can type of thing. Good. It's not like expected like it is here in the US.
So I remember at the restaurant where we did get the blankets, we gave a good tip. And she was treating us like family after that. She was like, "Oh, thank you so much. Y'all should go to this place, place. You should move to South Africa. We need more people like you here." And I feel like the vibe completely switched when we gave that tip.
Right. So again, they're not something I think that like the locals would do or a lot of other folks there. So again, I think it is a sign like, okay, yeah, you're American, right? You're used to tipping. And of course, yeah, if they give us good service, we tip well, especially know that it goes a long way, like for folks. So yeah, that definitely is something to keep in mind.
Yeah. I think that's all I had for cost. Are we at the
one more thing I just wanted to cover is like the two of the capades, just talk about how much those cost.
Talk to us.
So paragliding was $80. Was that per person? I think that was per person. So that was $80 per person, and the food tour was $50 per person. And we made probably 8 different stops, and that covered everything. We did not pay another penny after that. So just to give you an idea of like how much we paid for those things. So yes, now we are to the score. You go first this time.
Okay. Looking at, you said $450 for the stay. Flight would be $900. Food was a little bit less in here. I'm probably going a 7.5. I could stretch to an 8, but I'm feeling confident with a 7.5 for cost. I think in comparison to here, right, Southern California, it's more affordable, but in comparison to a Colombia, to a Zanzibar, to a Ghana, I feel like the food, like getting there, was a little bit more expensive than other places.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going 7.5.
Okay. And I'm actually going to copy you there. I'm going to go 7.5 as well, basically for the same reasons. It depends on what you're comparing it to, right? Comparing it to California, really affordable. Comparing it to Thailand, Colombia, it could be a little cheaper. So I think 7.5 is a nice score.
Okay, so we got 7.5 for cost. We got 9.5. No, we got 7 for culture.
Yes.
We got 9.5, right? Highest I think we may have given any place for capades. And then we had an 8.25 for cuisine.
Yes.
What's our total?
So the total is 32.25. And so when you divide that by 4, you get 8.06.
There you go. So we got an 8 out of 10 for Cape Town, South Africa. Again, if you've been there before, go ahead and give us what your rating would be. If you can do the same pillars or the same C's that we did, right? Look at culture, look at cuisine, look at capades and the cost, and then give us what your out of 10 experience would be for Cape Town. Something that we also talked about as we were dreaming, as we were riding on the bus, looking into the sunset, and as the waves were crashing gently across the rocks, we dreamed of a reality where we could one day retire on the coast of Cape Town.
Sure did.
Can you talk about why Cape Town might be a retirement destination for us?
I really liked it. Had everything that I think you would want. Like, what's not to like? I just really liked the nature aspect, right? The fact that you have the tabletop mountain there, you've got Lion's Head Mountain. So there's a lot of good like hiking and things to keep you active. You've got the beach. You've got like, there was a lot of people like walking and running around. So I feel like it's a society and a place that it's probably easy to stay active in. The food was good. Again, you can pretty much get whatever food you want. We need to work on the Mexican.
Facts.
We'll get there. But pretty much, whatever food you would want is going to be there as well. The people were nice.
Wineries were
the wineries, yeah,
and delicious.
Yeah. So, and the real estate, right? We actually were looking up while we were there, dreaming, looking up the prices of houses, and you can get something that, again, our frame of reference is California. So something that looks like Malibu, where those houses are going for $3 and $4 million, and you can get something for like $700,000.
He's like $400,000 would get you a really nice condo with a beautiful view.
Right.
Like, so yeah, for all those reasons that you said too, like the fact that we can have a high quality of life, but still have a diverse range of African foods and different cultures to eat. Amazing view. We love wine. To be able to retire and just go to a different winery every day can definitely be a vibe. So Cape Town, we may or may not retire there.
Definitely coming back.
Thailand, Italy. Definitely going back, but we got a few different options. We got to travel a little bit more before we can invest in that retirement property.
Yep.
Anything else on Cape Town you think the good people should know?
No, I think just.
Would you recommend people go?
How am I going to do all of this and be like, no, don't go.
Would
It's
you
all
recommend?
mine. Of course. Of course. I think you have to go to Cape Town, especially because I don't know. Well, I do know where this comes from. Popular culture, like what people think of as Africa. I feel like Cape Town is one of those places that definitely breaks everything that you think of what Africa looks like. Cape Town's going to break all of those stereotypes. And so I think, yes, it is very different than a lot of other places in Africa. Keep that in mind. But I do think it's a great place for anybody to visit. If you like the beach, if you like wineries, if you like city life, if you like hiking and adventurous things to do, like it's one of those places where you can find all of those things to do. And there were still so many things that we wanted to do that we did not. So there's so much to do, so much to experience, good food, good people. So 100% I would recommend it.
What she said. All right. So Queen, that wraps up our review of Cape Town. Appreciate you going through the outline and taking lead on this episode. Well done.
Thank you.
Now let's get into our updates for the week. What we talking about?
So we still got our Lit Leaders Innovating Tomorrow 10-week leadership. 10-week financial literacy program that we are offering with high schools, middle schools, and newly elementary schools. Babies. And we're basically taking students from identifying a problem that they see in their community to creating a business idea that solves that problem. So we're really trying to create the next wave of solutions-based, financially free entrepreneurs. If that sounds like something that you want your school to be a part of, hit us up at info@playblackwallstreet.com and let's talk about how we can make that happen.
Let's do it. Same vein, man. Make sure y'all go to playblackwallstreet.com, get yourself Black Wall Street, the board game, to empower your family. The holidays are coming up. Black History Month is coming up. A Thursday is coming up. So make sure y'all go ahead and get Play Black Wall Street so that you can have fun, learn about the history of Black Wall Street, but also learn about the different business structures as well. Introducing you to sole proprietors, LLC, corporation, and proper money management. Playblackwallstreet.com. Appreciate you. In other news, my acting career is going to start. I'll give y'all more details on how my acting career is taking off as well later on. I can't tell you the name of the project yet, but all I can tell you is I got this role because I'm buff. Literally, the casting person was like, "Hey, you look buff. You want a role?" I was like, "Yeah, I can be Denzel if you need me to."
This guy.
So I'll give y'all more updates on that. Queen, you good?
I'm good. What's going to be your name in the credits? It's going to be Devon Travell. You're going to have a new acting name?
No, I do not want another acting name. So if they give me the choice, it is going to say Devon Travell in the credits.
Good to know. We'll be looking out.
Yeah. Will you be in the audience?
Okay.
That's my baby. I'll sign my headshot for you.
Sounds good.
You can put it on your wall.
Okay.
Appreciate y'all for tapping in. I'm your host, Devon Travell, creator of Black Wall Street, the board game.
And I'm Sinclair, aka the health nerd.
Make sure y'all go out there and secure the marriage. Make sure you secure the love. And of course, make sure y'all secure the bag. Peace. Thank you for supporting the M4 show and our mission to increase the wealth of Black families.
If you received any value from this episode, any value at all, any, do us a favor and give us a like and subscribe on YouTube and Apple, Spotify, anything, all of them, all of them, wherever you're listening, go ahead and like and subscribe.
And after you like and subscribe, make sure you send this episode to at least one family that you really want to see win. We'll catch y'all next time. Peace.